In all the examples so far, we have written all the code inside of one file, index.js. But that's not how we build real-world applications, because we don't want to have one gigantic file with hundreds or thousands of lines of code. That's really hard to maintain. So we should split our code into multiple files, and we call each of these files a module. This gives us a number of benefits. First is that we can increase the maintainability of our application because our code is better organized. Second is that we get the chance to reuse one or more of these modules in different parts of an application or in different applications. And third is that we can abstract code. So we can apply the abstraction principle, which means we can hide some of the complexity in a module and only expose the essentials. Here's a real example. So earlier we wrote this code to implement a private property in our circle class. So we have this radius, which is a weak map, and we're using that inside our circle class to implement a private property. So here, when we create a circle object, we don't have access to a radius property like this. This does not exist. However, in this code, if I have access to this radius weak map, I can read the radius private property of the circle object. So here I can call radius.get and pass this circle object as the key, and what is returned will be the value of the radius property. So if we log this on the console, we get 10 here. Now, what we should do here is to take the circle class and the radius weak map out of this file, put it in a separate file, which we call a module, and then only expose the circle class to the outside. So we can import that file here, create a circle object, but we will not have access to this underlying radius object, which is our weak map. So this is abstraction in practice. So now you know what modules are, what are their benefits. You might be asking, how can we use modules in JavaScript? Well, before I tell you the answer, I want to quickly give you a brief history of modules in JavaScript. In ES5, we didn't have the concept of modules. So different solutions emerged to solve this problem. Smart developers in the community introduced new syntaxes to define modules. We refer to these syntaxes as module formats. So the popular module formats we have are AMD, which stands for Asynchronous Module Definition, and this is primarily used in browser applications. We also have CommonJS, which is used in Node. We have UMD, which stands for Universal Module Definition, and this can be used both in the browser and in Node. So we use these module formats in ES5, but as of ES6, JavaScript natively supports a module format. Now, out of this list, we're going to focus only on two formats, CommonJS because that's used in Node, and ES6 modules because that's used in browsers. So technically going forward, you don't need to learn about AMD or UMD unless you're maintaining a legacy application that is built around these module formats. So next we're going to look at CommonJS, and then we'll look at ES6 modules.